Thank you and welcome everyone. Good evening. So looking at the topic of this session uh, makes me very excited, curious, and also a bit nervous,
What if I
right?
want to go back?
Curious for obvious reasons,
Thank you.
rethinking actuarial education in the time of, the world is very dynamic, the world is changing a lot, and therefore, looking at the education and the way that can be changed is curious. I'm curious to know what they have got to present. Also a bit nervous because as actuarial students, we all know, when you are at the, halfway through your exams and something is going to change or something new is going to happen in your education. Now here we have the CEO and the product head of ACTEX, a leading actuarial education company, want to talk to us about rethinking actuarial education, right? So going to make actuarial students a bit nervous. Now only consolation that I have is I have passed these exams long back, therefore hopefully nothing is going to affect me. But what this means to students and is this going to increase or reduce their burden is what I'm curious to know. So with that I invite and welcome Bill and Joana to make their presentation. Please welcome them with an applause.
Thank you. Well, I'm very pleased to be speaking today. Thrilled to be invited to do so. This is my first time in Mumbai and in India, and it's quite an honor. So today we're going to be talking about rethinking actuarial education. It is a global world and things are changing, so we're excited to walk you through where we see this paradigm shifting. So again, my name is Bill Marella. I'm the CEO of ACTEX, not ACTED, but ACTEX Learning. I've been involved in the education of actuaries for over 25 years, and I'm author of a book on the actuarial career. I'd like to introduce Joana. Yeah.
Yes, just quickly introduction. My name is Joana, and I lead content development at ACTEX. I'm a mathematician, actually, so I moved around a lot. I have experience teaching mathematics in many parts of the world, and I've also taught actuarial science in the US. That's how I got to know ACTEX Learning. I was a professor using ACTEX materials, and currently I'm leading the content at the company.
Joanna's very passionate, and if you're really passionate about actuarial education, come talk to us. So this morning, Preeti at the keynote was talking about the Trinity, and I created this slide because I thought, well, this is really, very much what we're doing at ACTEX Learning. Collaboration, innovation, and value creation are the three components of the Trinity. And for us, collaboration is essentially the hallmark of our company. Working with the societies, working with industry, regulators, any employers of actuaries, they are stakeholders for us. And our roots are really in academia, so working with professors or other actuarial educators. Innovation, these days everything is e-learning. It's really important for us when we're developing technology for it to be low-cost, scalable delivery systems. That's really important as we look to the Indian market and others outside our home base in the United States. We like to provide diagnostic and predictive tools to help the students, let them know when they're ready, and then have everything to be mobile friendly and available online and offline. The key is value creation. We have to make it widely accessible. It has to be high quality education. And today's students are different than when I was coming up, and they want content in their preferred formats, so that we have to deliver on that. And then ultimately, value creation comes down to mastery of the material and passing the exams. Just a little bit about ACTEX Learning. Actually, we're much older than ACTED. We have been around for over 50 years. We are a technology company as well as actuarial education. And a lot of our products are textbooks, study manuals, giant database of actuarial exam questions, online courses, video, and as I mentioned, our network of subject matter experts who are really, really critical to what we do. So people do trust us, professors, corporates, and the societies. On occasion, we do projects for the societies that advance the knowledge base for the profession. And as I commented, if you're a subject matter expert and you have an academic background or just a love of teaching, then you probably are a good fit with our organization, and we'll work with you sort of like on a part-time basis. Most of our contributors have worked with us for many, many years. They're super dedicated and passionate. And then the other unique thing about ACTEX is we're a benefit corporation. So we take any revenues, any profits, and we reinvest them back into our mission, which is affordability and access to actuarial education globally. So that's quite unique about our company. We're legally obligated not to shareholders, but to stakeholders, and we'll get into that in a minute. So just a quick overview of the presentation today. I'll be talking about just sort of the global perspective, this new paradigm for actuarial education. Joanna's going to be talking about case studies in particular, and then what the future holds, a little look into the future. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Sorry about that. Oh, I did mean to do that. I apologize. So actuarial education, I think it's more important than ever. We're going to talk a little bit about the stakeholders because that is very important to this new paradigm. It is a global world. There are a lot of challenges to getting actuarial education into the students' hands on an affordable basis, and we'll talk about sort of partnerships and how to do that, which is the last component. So, as I kind of have been talking about, the actuarial profession is increasingly central to the global dialogue of creating a fairer and more sustainable world. The United Nations Development Program, and Joanna's going to go into this a little more with their GAIN program, the UNDP, they work globally to eradicate poverty and reduce inequity, and they've identified the insurance industry, rightly so, as a key factor in achieving their sustainable development goals. And 6 in particular of the 17 are very noteworthy. So insurance as a risk protection mechanism critically and directly supports these sustainability development goals. Obviously poverty, hunger, healthcare, gender equality, economic growth, and climate action. And there's others as well, but those 6 are very, very important, and insurance plays a huge role in that. Well, for the insurance industry and the consulting industry to thrive, we need well-trained actuaries. And those are students, the benefits of that are students, employers, and experienced actuaries themselves. So the components and the 4 key stakeholders are these. Regulators, the societies themselves, actuarial, academic professors at universities, and the actuarial education companies like ACTEX. I did not know this animation was coming in, so it threw me off a little bit. I apologize. All right, it's a global world. There are a lot of education challenges. How are we going to deliver this? The older model was more regional. It was kind of a profit-maximizing role. It was siloed, not collaborative, and it was kind of inefficient, resource-intensive. The role of the AEC then was one that was not assisting the stakeholders. What we think a better model is partnership. Thinking globally, creating win-win-win situations. By that, it helps, let's say, a society. It's going to help the students, and we'll benefit again as well, because we'll have the resources to reinvest back into more affordability of actuarial education. So this requires collaboration, an interconnected partnership, and then if done right, it's sustainable and it's scalable. So if you've talked to me at all, you probably have heard me say 1 + 1 = 3. That's kind of what we're trying to achieve. We think that's the right model for any actuarial education company. And we're hoping that we'll sort of lead that into the future. The partnerships, obviously, between the societies and employers is very strong. It's typically quite strong with the university as well. And the AECs, actuarial education companies, can play an important role in helping everybody benefit the students and the profession. Some of the benefits of doing this are this type of partnership, this type of collaboration, are more innovation in terms of the products and the delivery of those products, growth overall of the profession, the quality of the products can often be raised just through better communication of the student needs or the academic needs. And lastly, just success of all the partners, all the stakeholders that are involved in the collaboration.
Bill, can you go back to that slide?
Yep.
It's my part now, but I want to kind of start the examples on that slide already.
Yep.
Yes, I designed the slide, so I have some ideas. Okay, so Bill was saying, like the old model versus the new model. I just wanted to bring some explanation here and some examples. So actuarial education companies, we are a publisher, an actuarial education company, and we can deal with corporation in a very transactional way, right? They are our clients, we sell products to them, and that's all it happens, right? We sell a product, they get the product, we get the money. That's 1 + 1 = 2. But the 1 + 1 = 3 thing is when we work together. So for example, Aon is one of our clients in the US, and at some point somebody from Aon that leads their development program was trying to think of a product, and they called me, and actually that product didn't work. We weren't able to set that up, but while we were talking, she brought a problem about their internship program, and now it was so hard to get students study materials for their short internship. So we started brainstorming, and we came up with a partnership to give students that they take in internships study materials. And we have run that program for 2 years. So now we are not just client and provider, we are partners. We created a new product together, so hence the innovation. And for example, in university, same thing. Like I was a professor, I was using textbooks, right? So I could, Bill was selling me textbooks. I received it, 1 + 1 = 2. But at some point during COVID, we started talking because Bill is very collaborative, and he asked the professors, if you have feedback about our products, especially our new online products, please email me. So we talked, and I had some ideas, so we started developing more. I started working with ACTEX, and like university professors now have access to these tools, but also can develop the tools. So it leads to growth of our company, it leads to growth of their teaching, and so 1 + 1 = 3. So I could go through all these examples. So that's the idea of this 1 + 1 = 3, is we can just do business, or we can do more. That's our view. Okay, and this also, we have very close collaboration with even our competitors. Like we host them on our e-learning platform and other things, because we truly believe that in this way everybody wins and we all win more. Okay. So to give you some examples, we could give many examples, but to give you some very concrete examples, and examples I'm very passionate about. The first one is the Actuarial Faculty Development Program. And we launched this last year with the United Nations Milliman Initiative, GAIN, It's a program that runs worldwide with target countries, target developing countries, to help developing countries develop their insurance, their insurance environment, okay? And one thing they identified as being very important is actuarial education. A lot of countries, in developing countries, India is kind of a little bit more developed in terms of actuarial science than a lot of the developing countries I'm talking about, like Tanzania, Nepal, Kenya. Kenya is not a target country, but other countries like that. A lot of the people teaching actuarial science in universities are mathematicians or statisticians, so people like me, and know nothing about actuarial science. And countries like, for example, when I started teaching actuarial science, I had the benefit of having access to very good study materials because I was in the US, my students were in the US. I could ask them to buy a book. Professors in Tanzania cannot just tell your students, go and buy this book because it has a lot of intuition, okay? So Bill met somebody from Milliman in a conference. They started talking, and we dreamt and made reality this program, ACTEX, Actuarial Faculty Development Program, or the AFTP. Okay, I already talked about this. This is the goals of GAIN, and what they identified, the problems of actuarial education. And so these were kind of, it's a big program in terms of objectives because we wanted to cover a lot of problems that exist in actuarial education in these countries. Okay, so we came with this idea, so we developed a program that has 4 components: a live component, a boot camp, a community of practice, then curriculum resources. That's why Milliman partnered with us, because we have the curriculum resources, and we also set up a mentorship program. And everybody teaching the actuarial bootcamp were volunteers, ACTEX, professors in our network, also Milliman and IAA volunteers. We had sessions on actuarial curriculum development, and then sessions on professional topics. We had 2 sessions on health insurance, 2 sessions on general insurance, with the objective, so our target were professors that are teaching actuarial science now or are developing actuarial science degrees, so they could see how things are applied and get case studies into their teaching. We have an online community of practice where people can share experiences, and then through the program, the professors and their students all got access to study materials during this academic year. So we started the first cohort last July with 20 participants from all over the world. I usually list them, but you can see them there, so it's a truly global program. We are able to meet live. 8 a.m. Central Time is kind of the only time that works for US and until Indonesia and the Philippines. So most of the participants are professors, but there's also some, for example, the participant from Palestine. She's an IFOA fellow that also wanted to start offering actuarial education in Palestine and Arabic countries. So she joined the program, and she had a very enriching experience. So there are, most of them are professors, but other people as well. And then everybody got very excited. We got, this is a paid, there's like a nominal fee for the program, because Milliman and the GAIN program said from the beginning that if it's free, like everybody arose and then nothing happens. So we have a fee, but with the objective also to get the communities involved and have a stake in the game. So the SOA and CAS IFOA, the Nigerian Society, UNSW, University of Australia, and ourselves sponsored a lot of the participants, at least part of the fee, and then they paid what they could. And 33 volunteers made this program happening from, like I said, Milliman, the IAA, the professors, and from ACTEC. And we had more than 60, so the first cohort is still happening. We just had a live session last Thursday that is not included here. So it will go until June, but the live sessions were more heavy in the first term until December. So 68 hours of sessions, 48,000 minutes watched live. And For example, I set up all these 1,056 student licenses that I've sent as part of this program, so students that received free study materials in these countries. Okay, and these are very comprehensive study materials with textbooks, with instructional videos, and with this academical, which is a database of questions that we have for self-study, but we've transformed into a professor tool for professors to do assignments and homework and exams. Okay, so that's the FTP. If you haven't noticed, I'm very excited about the FTP. We are actually launching year 2, cohort 2. April 1st, we'll have our first webinar explaining, so it's open for enrollment. If you know of academics that would benefit about the program, the FTP program, please let me know, or if you are interested in volunteering your time to help, instruct instructors, please connect with me. Okay, so our second case study is a program that we have been running for about 3 years now, and it was, there's a big group of actuaries from Ghana in the US, and they came to us, they wanted to help their students being able to afford study materials to pass exams. Our prices are very accessible for US students, but for Ghana students, not as much. And so there's this group of actuaries that work with us, and they provide students at 3 universities study materials for them to prepare for exams. And we provide the study materials. We actually create special platform for them to study, but also to do mock exams, to be able to go through the program and get sponsorship. Okay, and this is a very successful program. In some of the cohorts, the pass rate for the exams from the students of the cohort was like 87%, which is much, much higher than pass rates for exam P, which is like 40%. These were for SOA exams. And I think there's a lot of that makes this successful. The students are highly motivated. These Ghana students, they are highly motivated. Several of them that participated in this program are now our collaborators and work with us. We're doing study materials. They are very enthusiastic. Then the initiative of sponsors. If these Ghana actuaries did not reach out to us, this would not have happened. Of course, the materials are, we developed them, but they are really good. So there's a strong base for students to study. But then also there's the local support. Their tutors are local, and it's early graduates and people that have passed the exam. So there's a lot of partnership involved in a program like this that makes this such a successful program. It's very simple and very complicated in a sense. It's not just transactional. Again, it's a partnership, and that's why it works. Okay, so maybe the last case study is our champion program, and this is a program we launched in 2023 for actuarial students and clubs. It's very common in Africa and the US to have an actuarial club that they do a lot of events. And the idea is to create a more direct connection and partnership between us, an actuarial education company, and the students. So again, before, students see us just like a publisher. We buy you the book, you get us the book, we give you the money. So what we want is more than that. We want to have a direct connection with them to be able to support them. Okay? And, oh, this only goes front. How do I go back? Can I go back?
The small one.
Ah, the small one. Sorry. Okay, so the gist is a very simple program. In each university, we get a champion that becomes kind of our point of contact. He gets free study materials, and very happy to get free study materials. And then all their club gets a discount of our study materials. But the most important part is we organize workshops. I talk frequently, and Bill also, I talk frequently about how to study for exams and actuarial pathways, and Bill talks a lot about actuarial careers at universities. And there's again, this collaboration, this non-transactional relation simply, okay? So currently, we have more than 115 champions in 22 countries. Of course, US is in front because that's where we started and that's where we are located. But if you see, for example, Kenya, it's a very kind of strange case. Why do we have so many champions in Kenya? And this is because of one person. So I connected with Clement. He's an actuarial graduate from Kenya. And we started talking on LinkedIn. And he said, oh, yes, I want to help. So I said, I think you could help, like, can you find me people at universities that want to be our champions? I explained what the program was. And he is exceptionally good at finding people at universities that want to be champions. So good that he now manages our global program of champions. He's currently doing his master's in Portugal. And most of the champions in Africa, he got them. And it all started with a conversation and partnership. And you see, we give a lot of workshops at universities about many topics. Okay, so I think I have 4 minutes, so it's good. We just wanted to finish with some ideas about what the future holds. So in this world that is very global, we as at ACTEC, we also want to be global, and we want to think global. And for that, we use technology, collaboration, and communication. And I think, like, I came into ACTEC more like in the tomorrow phase, but when I was thinking about this presentation, like ACTEC is very known for printed textbooks. That's what we are known for in the US, like people have ACTEC textbooks in their shelf. And that's great. Or Sam Broverman, which is one of our long-standing authors, he always said, oh, I used to fly to give exam prep courses. And I can imagine, I mean, how expensive is that? It's just like fly somewhere, get paid to fly somewhere, and then teach a small group of people. So knowledge was only accessible to people close to Sam Broverman, right? And when I think now, at ACTEC, we have been around for more than 50 years. We have accumulated all this knowledge and content, which, especially the basis, the probability, the things I know because I'm a mathematician, didn't change, right? So we have all this accumulated knowledge that now everything is digital. So we've passed the past 10 years digitalizing all our content. And so when last year the IAI told us that, okay, so now we are going OBA, can you get us some mock exams in OBA format? We said, yes, next week we can get some. We are at a point that with our building of knowledge and our development of technology, we can now deploy all these in a completely different scale. Okay, so we consider ourselves very much now a global company, and we try to think of these global solutions, okay? Yeah, so hopefully this will make, again, I'm moving too fast, will help everybody. So we are, okay, I'm very positive, but this is what we want to work on. Okay. So that's our emails. That QR code, if you scan, it has, you can leave me your contact and leave me a message. And especially if you're interested in the actuarial faculty development program and volunteering, or you know somebody that wants to participate, please reach out to me. Yeah, we'll take questions now.
So thanks, Bill and Joana, for a very insightful presentation. I have one question. See, on behalf of Institute of Actuaries, we conduct subject-specific sessions to our students, and I was part of some of those sessions. And, a few days of classroom, sessions to the students. Now, many times I wondered, when the pass rate was good, was it because the students were bright and hence passed better, or was I really very effective as a teacher? Which is still a good problem to analyze. But when the pass rates were bad, do I blame it on students mostly, or do I blame it on me? So the question is, how do you measure the effectiveness of your sessions, because you are conducting in various geographies, and if you have some metrics to do that, how do you improve it from time to time? Because that can really help us and many of my friends here.
Why don't you answer that? I'm thinking about Ambrose. BA maybe.
So the question is, how do we improve our study materials?
No,
Yeah, in a way, yes.
Sorry?
Yes.
Yes. So that a good thing about these digital resources is that it allows communication in all directions. So we value very much the feedback loop. And our students are very vocal. You know, like I was a teacher for many years. I know how vocal students can be, and they are very vocal. So we have, for example, if you're watching a video in our platform, you can rate the video and you can leave a comment about something, and then Gabe, who works on our team, he'll look at it and then he'll send it to a professor that did that video to change, or for example, we have a Discord forum where the students can be part of it, and a lot of our authors, so Ambrose Lowe is the author of our predictive analytics study manuals. He is very active on Discord, so students ask him questions, they say, oh, I found this is not well explained, and he'll react. Every 6 months he launches a new version of that study manual, so he's continuously improving. Most of our study materials are very alive. For example, our database of questions, goal, that students can use for self-study. Each question they can report a problem or ask questions, and we have a professor that is responsible for each of these databases that will improve the question or add a new solution for clarity. So it's not static, it's constantly alive. The things that are more static is the textbooks. The printed textbooks are more static, but they are kind of different types of study material. But yeah, we try to bring in the feedback very frequently.
So
Thank you so much.
Okay. So I'm not even looking at that side because time is up, but maybe one question, if at all. Yeah, Mayur.
We'll just try to keep it very quick.
What you try to see in a faculty when you choose one and certify that this is a good faculty?
what do we look for? I think it varies a little bit. We have, just so you know, we have people that contribute at all different levels. So we'll have students that might contribute on certain small projects. Now, they're not writing materials or creating videos, but they're providing feedback specifically on some new material we may have created. We might have, for a master's level student or a PhD student, we might have some small writing projects, but more it's going to be an area that they are quite strong in and that we have a lot of confidence. And then we will have their work checked either internally or by a professor that wrote the material, for example. For the professors themselves, we regularly work through referrals. It's probably the best source of any, right, any referral into your organization. So Ambrose Lowe, who's a very prominent predictive analytics author that we have, we were creating a graded mock exam. Ambrose is fantastic. He doesn't suffer fools either. So we knew that, and we said, okay, Ambrose, who would you select for the graded mock exams? And he selected one person, and that person was fantastic, and then the product's been super successful, and so he selected a second person to assist him with the grading. So it can be different ways, but generally you are known to somebody in our subject matter network of experts.
So it's primarily a collegial effort, and if you find a good virtuous cycle, then the cycle keeps developing between faculties, and you start upping the level and quality of the faculties.
So for example, I gave you the example of Clement. It doesn't do a lot of content, but many times, I meet a professor or an actuary, and we start talking, and they say, oh, maybe I could work on this. And so we start with small projects. With Clement, we started very small, and it just develops. And some people have more time and want to write manuals or books, or for example, we just launched a book last month. It's called Aspiring Actuarial Leaders, And the actuary that wrote this book, Julia, she's from Australia. She's very active on LinkedIn, and I'm also, so we met on LinkedIn, and I said, oh, let's talk. So we talked, and I was talking to her, and I said, you should write a book about that. And she said, maybe I should. And now she wrote a book about that. So like it's all about connection and growing the relation. And a lot of my job, so I lead the content development, is to meet people and understand. I look young, but I'm not that young. I have a lot of experience in like working with professors and understand what is the right project for them, and like to add value.
Just to add, ACTEX did a book called Actuaries in Microinsurance, and some of us were involved with Jeff Black.
Yes.
So we already have a start.
That book is dated now. A lot has changed in that. But that's an example of our sort of history of just taking on projects. That never was expected to be a money maker, but it did advance the knowledge base of the actuarial profession, so we were happy to take it on. We have a recent project, competency framework, that we were excited about, and I think it's going to be a great benefit to the actuarial associates and fellows. But it's not designed to be generating money, but just giving back to the profession. And the authors of that, and Julia, and I mean, everything that they share is a passion. We're super appreciative of their work because these subject matter experts are exceptionally talented, and they choose to work with us. So we are like very, very thankful, and every time I am corresponding with them or regularly, I'll thank them for ourselves, but also for the students that are benefiting, because ultimately that's what we're all here to do. So it's heartening from that standpoint.